And I'm tired of listening to these people say how safe it was before we got here. It was unsafe. It was horrible. And Mayor Bowser better get her act straight or she won't be mayor very long, because we'll take it over with the federal government, run it like it's supposed to be run. The numbers were horrible. It was a crime-infested rat hole. And they do have a lot of rats. We're getting rid of them, too. And we've made a lot of progress. And it was extremely unsafe, and now it's extremely safe. We had virtually no crime. The number was down 87%, and I'm trying to figure out where was the 13%, because
we have to talk about the anti-Trump DC mayor that at first had a huge problem with this, and she basically wanted to say that the crime statistics in DC were really good compared to previous years, but when you compare it to previous years, it's at an all-time high before the pandemic. So she obviously tries to navigate this throughout the mainstream media as she doesn't need the help because they're doing really good in DC. But the people of DC know this is complete BS. And now she is surrendering. She is admitting, she is screaming out to the world and screaming out to the country that, you know what, Trump has helped us. And actually, we might need more help. And citizens are not dying and carjackings are not happening. You got to see what she does on camera here, which is a crazy turn of events. But this is exactly what Trump does. Trump has made them surrender. Trump has made them admit. But what's even crazier is that I got to show you is, let me ask you a question before I play this video. Is the National Guard being deployed against Americans or to help Americans? That is what a CNN anchor by the name of Abby Phillips claims, that the National Guard is being used against the American people. Take a listen to this and then we'll go right to that one.
We greatly appreciate the surge of officers that enhance what MPD has been able to do in this city. The most significant thing that we are highlighting today is the area of crime that was most troubling for us in 2023. Now, we have driven it down over the last years, but I'm going to get my glasses so I can make sure I can see it correctly. But for carjackings, the difference between this period, this 20-day period of this federal surge and last year represents a 87% reduction in.
Boom! 87% down on carjackings, homicides, and every crime you could think possible. Boom! That is dramatic. That's almost 100%. It's not happening anymore because of this way of handling it by deploying the National Guard to oversee and help out clean the city.
7% reduction in carjackings in Washington, D.C. We know that when carjackings go down, when the use of gun goes down, when homicide or robbery go down, neighborhoods feel safer and are safer. So this surge has been important to us for that reason.
Boom. She just defeated every Democrat narrative that this works. The National Guard is not being used against the American people. The National Guard is being used to help the American people. And she just admitted that this right now is working. Less carjackings, less guns, less homicides, less black people dying, less people dying, period. That's something that we have addressed. That's something that we want to stop. But many of these liberals that don't even live in these inner cities legitimately make the argument that it's otherwise. So now that brings us to this moment and CNN, where we need to talk about this because Scott Jennings is doing it again. But it's wild to me, right? They got Kevin O'Leary as well, Mr. Wonderful. It's wild to me that this is portrayed as some war on Americans, war on citizens. That is what CNN is saying that is happening. Now, you just heard the mayor of DC, again, not a fan of Trump, not a fan of Trump intervening in her process of being a mayor, because that's how they're all taking it. So now she admits that it's working, bringing 87% down. But CNN still has, as they are, the mainstream media, this is why we make this channel, so we could just debunk them. You guys have got to listen to what Abby Phillips says is a war on citizens. This video is brought to you guys by Noble Gold. We have a sponsorship. Let's go shout out to them. If you're getting close to retirement or just thinking ahead, you've probably done a solid job of saving. But there is much more that people just don't consider. How much money is just sitting in cash? It might feel safe, but holding on to cash guarantees one thing: you're losing purchasing power. That's why more people are looking at real assets like physical gold and silver to protect their savings. And one company that makes it easy is Noble Gold Investments. You can now buy gold or silver, coins or bars, and have them shipped to your home or stored securely. And they don't actually pressure you, just solid information and real options. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com, noblegoldinvestments.com. Go today to noblegoldinvestments.com.
And it's also because the military serves a role to protect Americans, not to be used against Americans.
Exactly.
You keep saying used against Americans. What kind of Americans do you mean? The ones that are murdering us, carjacking us, raping us, terrorizing our cities? I mean, you're saying like he's creating an actual war against American citizens when what he's actually creating is a war against criminals. And by the way, illegal aliens who they are rounding up by the bucket load.
I want to let Ellie.
Of course, politics is going on here. I mean, you said that they should be asking for federal resources, but that would be an admission that they have lost control of their cities.
That's
so
not losing
Brandon
control.
Johnson,
I mean,
Chris
no.
Bannon, that would be an admission they've lost
The way
the mayor
that
of DC asked for federal resources too. She was trying
The way that-
But
but
Brandon
let me-
Johnson, the
but
mayor of
let me-
Chicago, said, I don't want more police. And he even said
let
today,
me-
we don't even want to put
But this is
people in
what I'm
prison.
telling you.
I mean,
I'm
think
telling
about-
you that Democrats should think about potentially asking for more resources. What I'll say here
I
is
agree
that,
with you, but they won't.
but it's also not handing over the entire city to the federal government. What happens is that the mayor and the local law enforcement should be in charge, and they should have the federal law enforcement supplement and provide training as needed. It shouldn't be that the National Guard and federal law enforcement should take over a city that they do not understand, that they do not know, that the community doesn't understand. That just
and
leads
look,
to
I mean,
chaos.
Well, here's something that the community does understand. It's how much crime there has been for years. There's many different videos over the last few years, many different videos now of people in DC that actually live in the inner community, in the inner cities. And they're saying that they're mad about other people portraying them to be not that dangerous. When in reality, they can't even walk outside without being worried about what's about to happen next. They can't go to certain neighborhoods. They can't do certain things. That's how I've been my whole life in New York City as well. Anybody who lives in the inner city knows of gang culture. They know of robberies. They know of being soft on crime. And we all know about this. We know that this to be true. There's something in the disconnect happening between the mainstream America, mainstream media, white progressives, and white liberals. Why do I point out white progressives and white liberals? Because they're usually the ones that scream the most that they're helping Latinos or they're helping any other race. Shout out to my white conservatives listening to this, because you know exactly what I mean when I say this. They're the ones that would march down. They're the ones that would try to set cities on fire behind what they think are injustices, while people in the inner cities are screaming, yeah, we actually need this. We need to help. Yes, we do need programs. Yes, we do need after-school programs. Yes, we need a culture shock and a culture change. We need more fathers in the home. Yes, these are all inner issues that we must fix. But right now, many people are screaming that, hey, this is the right thing to do for the moment. We need it right now. We have to stop people from dying. That's the whole goal. Stop people from dying. So my question that I always propose to people is, are you willing to violate? What are you willing to give back to stop people from dying? What are you willing to give back to stop crime? Period. What are you willing to give for that? What are you willing to give to clean up your city? What are you willing to give? Because it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to look not too good if you're an activist. You're going to think, oh, violating human rights. They're violating human rights. But is that the price you have to pay to have the cleanest city, to have no crime, to live in abundance, to live great? Now, I'm not saying violating human rights is the right thing. But what is the price to pay? That is my question. What is the price to pay for living like how you want to live? Again, I'm not advocating for violating human rights. I don't even think that's what's happening at all. But that's what they're screaming. But what is it? What is the price to pay? Is it Bukele style, where you arrest a whole bunch of people because they look like gang members? Or you arrest people because they got some tattoos on their face and you think they're a gang member? But guess what? All those arrests equals to zero crime. Is that the line that America is willing to cross. That's the best conversation I think we should have as a country. You should probably have that on live. But before I go, I want to play this video. I thought it was an amazing video of a Iris Tao. She's a White House correspondent, and she has a story here. She tells Trump a very emotional story about him cracking down on DC because she reveals that she was robbed, and she reveals that she was pistol whipped outside of her apartment. And she's giving her testimony of how what she thinks is an amazing thing that Trump is doing. I want you guys to take a listen to this. I'll see you guys on the next one.
My name is Iris Tao. I'm a White House correspondent for NTD, the sister media of the Epoch Times. So more than 2 years ago, it was a Saturday morning in broad daylight. I was on my way to work, and a young man with a black ski mask pointed a gun at my face and threatened me to hand over my phone, my wallet, my laptop, and everything else. And when I refused, he used the butt of his handgun to strike me across the face, in the cheek, or what some people call pistol whip me, before running away. And that has deeply traumatized myself and my family. Ever since, I've never dared to walk in the street of DC at night, ever. And my family was extremely worried. So, Mr. President, thank you so much for what you're doing right now.
Thank you, Iris, for being honest.
Such incidents involved not just me, but also my family. If he had shot me, I could have died right there in the middle of nowhere without my families or my friends knowing at the age of back then, I think 23.
Right.
Just starting my career here in DC without even starting a family. But now I'm very blessed to have this opportunity.
So you had a gun pointed at your head, and you probably figured that he's going to pull the trigger because these are animals that don't know what the hell. They couldn't care less. The pulling the trigger to him is a very minor event, and I'm sure he's done it before. So how did you? And you did refuse to give it, which would probably, maybe somebody would say that was not the right decision, right?
Right.
But you refused. But I understand that. So and then he hit you real hard.
Yes.
It's really amazing that you weren't shot. That was.
I'm very blessed, and that's why having this opportunity to stand here to share my story today. One, I'm very grateful for God for allowing me to still survive to this day, but also to Mr. President. Thank you for now making DC safer.
Thank you very much.
For us, for our families, for my parents, on my behalf of my parents, and now my baby on the way. Thank you so much.
Other reporters and journalists, good people, and you don't have to say it, but that have also been attacked violently, and not violently too, but pretty badly. But and I bet you see a big difference in the streets right now. And this is only 12 days, but people are telling me they're going out to dinner now.